Hi, before we find out what happens next, make sure to give us a like and subscribe to the channel. It takes a second and really help us grow. Out of the story.
I'd owned my house for exactly 3 weeks when I decided to throw a housewarming party. The house was a 3-bedroom colonial in a quiet neighborhood, my first real adult purchase at 32. I'd saved for years, scraped together a down payment, and finally had a place that was entirely mine. "You have to invite family," my friend Quinn Fletcher insisted while helping me clean before the party. "It's tradition. Even the family I barely talk to? Especially them. Show off your success. Make them jealous." So I invited everyone. My parents, my brother, my Aunt Rhonda Marshall, and her daughter Tasha. Rhonda was my father's sister, someone I saw maybe twice a year at holidays. Tasha was 28, worked retail, lived with Rhonda in an apartment across town. The party was a Saturday afternoon in October. 20 people milled through my new house admiring the hardwood floors, the updated kitchen, the stairs with the oak banister I'd fallen in love with during the showing. Rhonda arrived late with Tasha, both carrying bottles of cheap wine. "Peyton, this place is gorgeous," Rhonda gushed. "You must be making good money to afford this." "I do okay. Tasha and I have been looking at houses, but everything's so expensive. You're lucky you could afford it." "I saved for 5 years. Still, must be nice to have that kind of financial security." Something about her tone felt off. Envious, but also calculating. Tasha wandered through the rooms taking photos. "Can I see upstairs?" "Sure, guest rooms and bathroom up there." She disappeared up the staircase. Rhonda followed. Quinn caught my arm. "Your aunt seems really interested in your house. She's probably comparing it to her apartment. Or casing it. That's paranoid." "Maybe." 15 minutes later, I heard screaming. "Help! Someone help!" I ran to the staircase. Tasha was lying at the bottom, crumpled, crying. Rhonda was kneeling beside her. "She fell. She fell down the stairs." I rushed down. "Tasha, are you okay?" "My leg! I can't move my leg." "Don't move her," someone shouted. "Call 911. My brother called. Paramedics arrived within minutes. The party cleared out fast. No one wants to watch an ambulance loading someone on a stretcher. "What happened?" a paramedic asked. Rhonda answered. "She was coming down the stairs and just fell. Tumbled all the way to the bottom." "The stairs," I started. "Were they slippery? Poorly lit?" the paramedic asked. "No, they're fine." "The railing seemed loose," Rhonda interjected, "and the lighting is pretty dim." I stared at her. The railing wasn't loose, the lighting was fine. But Rhonda was painting a different picture. "They took Tasha to the hospital. Rhonda rode with her. I followed in my car, guilt already settling in my stomach. At the hospital, Rhonda came out of the examination room looking grim. Broken leg, sprained ankle, possible concussion. The doctor says she'll need surgery. I'm so sorry. It's not your fault. Well, not entirely, but those stairs are dangerous, Peyton. They're not dangerous. Tasha fell down them. They're obviously dangerous. A nurse handed me paperwork. Are you the homeowner? Yes. You'll want to notify your insurance company. These medical bills are going to be significant. Quinn drove me home. That was awful. I feel terrible. It was an accident. But what if the stairs are dangerous? What if I should have noticed something? Peyton, your stairs are fine. I've been up and down them 6 times today. They're well lit, sturdy, not slippery. Tasha just fell. Rhonda said the railing was loose. It's not loose. I checked while the paramedics were there. Your aunt is setting you up for something. Setting me up for what? A lawsuit. That's insane. She's family. Family sues family all the time. Especially when there's insurance money involved. I wanted to believe Quinn was wrong. But something about Rhonda's immediate focus on the stairs being dangerous, the railing being loose, the lighting being inadequate, it felt rehearsed. I called my insurance company Monday morning and reported the incident. A guest fell on your property and is claiming injuries? Yes, my cousin. She fell down my stairs. We'll open a claim. Don't communicate with the injured party except through us. If they try to contact you about the incident, refer them to your claims adjuster. Do you think she'll sue? It's possible. Most slip and fall injuries on residential property get settled through homeowners insurance. We'll investigate and determine liability. But I didn't do anything wrong. That's what the investigation will determine. I hung up feeling sick. Tasha's surgery was 3 days after the fall. Broken tibia, reconstructed with pins and plates. She posted photos from the hospital on social media. Leg in a cast, sad face, captions about accidents that change everything. Rhonda called me daily with updates. The doctor says she might never fully recover, could have permanent mobility issues. I'm so sorry. Her job won't hold her position. Retail requires standing and walking. She's going to lose her income. That's terrible. And the medical bills. Even with her insurance, she's looking at tens of thousands out of pocket. I reported it to my homeowner's insurance. They should cover her medical expenses. Should they? Or will they fight it? Why would they fight it? Insurance companies always try to avoid paying. Tasha might have to sue to get what she deserves. Sue? Rhonda, I'm family. And family should take responsibility when they're at fault. Those stairs were dangerous. You know it. Tasha could have died. The stairs weren't dangerous. Tell that to my daughter in the hospital. She hung up. Quinn came over that evening. Your aunt called? She's implying Tasha is going to sue. Of course she is. This was planned from the start. You don't know that. Peyton, think about it. They showed up late to the party. Tasha immediately went upstairs alone. Rhonda followed. 15 minutes later, dramatic fall with immediate blame on the stairs. Your aunt knew exactly what she was doing. But why? What does she gain? Your homeowner's insurance policy probably covers up to $100,000 or more for liability claims. That's what she gains. She wouldn't. She would, and she is. The lawsuit came 6 weeks later. Served by a process server who handed me papers at my front door. Tasha Marshall v. Peyton Crawford. Premises. Liability. The claim. Peyton Crawford maintained a dangerous property with inadequate lighting, loose railings, and slippery stairs that directly caused Tasha Marshall's catastrophic injuries. Seeking damages for medical expenses, lost wages, pain and suffering, and permanent disability. Total, $120,000. I called my insurance company immediately. We've been expecting this, my claims adjuster said. We'll assign an attorney to represent you. Don't communicate with the plaintiff or her attorney directly. But she's my cousin. She's the plaintiff in a lawsuit against you. Treat her as such. My attorney was a woman named Ms. Ramirez who specialized in premises liability defense. Walk me through what happened, she said at our first meeting. I explained the party, the fall, Rhonda's immediate claims about dangerous stairs. Did you notice anything unusual about how the fall happened? No. I heard screaming and ran to find Tasha at the bottom of the stairs. No one actually saw her fall? I don't think so. Rhonda was with her, but I don't know if she saw it happen. That's a problem. Without witnesses, it's their word about how the fall occurred. The stairs aren't dangerous. I've had an inspector look at them since the accident. Everything is up to code, properly maintained, well lit. Good. That helps. But juries are sympathetic to injured plaintiffs. Even if you did nothing wrong, they might award damages just because someone got hurt. So I'm liable even though I'm not at fault? Potentially. That's why insurance companies often settle. It's cheaper than a trial. I don't want to settle. That's admitting I did something wrong. Settling isn't an admission of fault. It's a business decision by the insurance company. But my premiums will go up. Yes, significantly. That's the cost of a claim on your policy. I left the meeting feeling trapped. The lawsuit dragged on for months. Depositions, interrogatories, document requests. Tasha's attorney painted me as a negligent homeowner who'd purchased a dangerous property and failed to maintain it safely. My attorney countered with inspection reports showing the stairs were perfectly safe. 8 months after the fall, my insurance company made a decision. We're settling, my adjuster told me. What? Why? Taking this to trial is too risky. Juries see a young woman with a broken leg and they award damages regardless of fault. We're offering $85,000 to settle. That's almost everything they asked for. It's less than a trial would cost us, and less than a jury might award. I don't want to settle. It's not your decision. It's ours. The settlement releases you from liability and closes the claim. They settled. $85,000 to Tasha and Rhonda, split between them. My premiums tripled. From $1,200 annually to $3,800. You're now classified as a high-risk property, my new insurance agent explained. Claims like this make you a liability. But I didn't do anything wrong. The payout says otherwise, at least in the insurance company's eyes. Family gatherings became awkward. Some relatives knew about the lawsuit and took sides. Some blamed me for having dangerous stares. Some thought Tasha was taking advantage. Rhonda and Tasha stayed away, cashed their checks, and disappeared from family events, and I was left with a tripled insurance premium and the reputation of someone whose home had hurt a family member. Quinn's prediction had been right, but I had no way to prove it. 2 years after the settlement, I'd almost moved on. The insurance premium still stung. $3,800 annually was a painful reminder of Tasha's fall, but I'd accepted it as the cost of owning a home where someone got hurt, even if I wasn't truly at fault. Then my neighbor knocked on my door on a Saturday morning. "Peyton, I need to show you something." His name was Gerald, retired, lived in the house to my left. We had friendly wave-across-the-yard relationship, but not much more. "What's up?" "Come to my house. I want to show you some footage from my security camera." "Footage of what?" "Your housewarming party, the day your cousin fell." My stomach dropped. "You have video from that day?" "I have video from every day. My camera faces the street but catches the side of your house too, including your front door and the view through your window near the stairs." I followed him to his house. He pulled up the footage on his computer, date stamped October 15th, 2 years ago. "I was going through old files to clear space and found this. Thought you might want to see it." He played the video. Timestamp 2:47 p.m. The camera showed my front walkway and through my large front window, a partial view of my staircase. Tasha and Rhonda walked up the stairs together, disappeared from view. 30 seconds later, they came back into frame at the top of the stairs. Rhonda looked around, checking if anyone was watching. Then she said something to Tasha. Tasha nodded. She positioned herself near the top step, grabbed the railing, then threw herself backward and tumbled down the stairs in what looked like a controlled fall. Rhonda rushed down after her and immediately started yelling for help. I watched it 3 times. "That's not an accident," Gerald said. "That's staged. She deliberately fell. And your aunt set it up. I debated showing you this at the time, but you seemed okay. Then I heard about the lawsuit, figured it settled and you'd moved on. But finding this footage today, you should have it, in case you need it. Can I have a copy?" "Already made you one." He handed me a USB drive. I went home, hands shaking, and watched the footage again on my own computer. It was clear as day. Tasha had thrown herself down the stairs. Rhonda had coached her. The whole thing was staged. Quinn came over when I called. "Holy shit, you were right. It was fraud. Complete fraud. They planned it, executed it, sued me, and collected $85,000. What are you going to do?" "I don't know. Can I do anything? The settlement is done. Case is closed. But this is evidence of fraud. Insurance fraud. That's a crime. Who do I report it to?" "The insurance company. They paid out based on a fraudulent claim. They'll want to know." I contacted my former claims adjuster Monday morning. "Ms. Crawford, the case is settled and closed." "I know, but I have evidence the fall was staged. Video evidence showing my cousin deliberately threw herself down my stairs." Silence. "You have video of the incident?" "Yes, from my neighbor's security camera. It clearly shows her staging the fall with my aunt's help." "Send it to me immediately. If this is what you say it is, we'll reopen the investigation." I sent the footage. 2 days later, a different person called. Mr. Douglas, special investigator for insurance fraud. "Ms. Crawford, I've reviewed the security footage. This is significant evidence of insurance fraud. I'm opening a formal investigation into Tasha Marshall and Rhonda Marshall." "What does that mean?" "It means we investigate whether they deliberately staged this incident to defraud the insurance company. If we determine they did, we can pursue criminal charges and demand repayment of the settlement plus damages." "Criminal charges?" "Insurance fraud is a felony. If convicted, they could face prison time, heavy fines, and restitution. I just wanted my premiums to go back down. If we prove fraud, your premiums will be adjusted. The claim will be removed from your record, but more importantly, these women will face consequences for what they did. Good. Mr. Douglas was thorough. Over the next 3 months, he investigated every aspect of Tasha's claim. Medical records, social media, witness statements, the security footage. He contacted me regularly with updates. Tasha's medical records show the injury was real, broken tibia, surgical repair, but the recovery was faster than she claimed. She was walking without assistance within 3 months, not the 6 months she told the insurance company. So she exaggerated her injuries? Significantly. And her social media tells an interesting story. He showed me printouts. Photos of Tasha hiking 6 months after the fall, tagged at locations hours from her home, dancing at a wedding 8 months post-injury, playing volleyball at a family picnic a year after the settlement. She claimed permanent mobility issues. These photos suggest otherwise. I never saw these. She must have blocked me on social media. She blocked a lot of people, but mutual friends captured the photos. We have dozens showing her engaged in activities she claimed she could no longer do. What about Rhonda? We're investigating her role as the witness. The security footage shows her coaching Tasha before the fall. That makes her a co-conspirator. She also received half the settlement, $42,500. Can you prove they planned it? The video is strong evidence. Combined with the exaggerated injuries and false disability claims, we have a solid case for fraud. What happens next? I refer my findings to the district attorney. They decide whether to file criminal charges. Separately, the insurance company can sue for repayment of the settlement. Will my premiums go down? Once the fraud is confirmed, we'll remove the claim from your record. Your premiums will return to normal levels. You may also be entitled to compensation for the increased premiums you paid over the last 2 years. For the first time since the fall, I felt hope. The investigation took 6 months total. Mr. Douglas interviewed neighbors who'd been at the party. None had seen Tasha fall, but several commented that Rhonda had seemed unusually focused on the condition of my stairs even before the incident. Your aunt asked me if your stairs met code, one neighbor recalled. Seemed like a weird question at a housewarming party. Another remembered. Rhonda kept saying how steep the stairs were. I thought she was just making conversation, but looking back, it felt like she was building a narrative. The medical evidence was damning. Tasha's actual recovery had been textbook normal, but her testimony during the lawsuit claimed ongoing pain, limited mobility, inability to work. All lies. Mr. Douglas found employment records showing Tasha had returned to retail work. A different store, but the same type of standing and walking she'd claimed she could no longer do, within 4 months of the fall. She was working while claiming disability, Mr. Douglas explained. That's fraud on multiple levels. The social media evidence kept growing. Tasha at concerts, Tasha on vacation, Tasha doing yoga, all activities supposedly impossible due to her catastrophic injuries. Finally, Mr. Douglas called with news. The district attorney is filing charges. 2 counts of insurance fraud against Tasha Marshall. 1 count of conspiracy to commit insurance fraud against Rhonda Marshall. They're being charged? Yes. Arraignment is in 3 weeks. They'll be formally notified and required to appear in court. What about the money? The insurance company is filing a civil suit for repayment of the full settlement, plus legal fees, investigative costs, and damages. We're seeking $200,000 total. They don't have that kind of money. Then they'll face garnishment, liens, bankruptcy. That's not our concern. Our concern is holding them accountable. When will my premiums be adjusted? Effective immediately. We're removing the claim from your policy. Your premium will drop back to pre-incident levels. We'll also reimburse you for the excess premiums you paid over the last 2 years, approximately $5,000. $5,000 back. Normal premiums, and criminal charges against the people who'd tried to scam me. It felt like winning the lottery. Quinn came over to celebrate. I told you it was fraud. You did. I should have listened sooner. You couldn't have known, but now they're facing real consequences. Do you think they'll go to prison? Depends on the judge. but they'll definitely have criminal records. And they'll owe a lot of money they don't have. Good. They tried to ruin me financially and succeeded for 2 years. Now it's their turn. Rhonda called me 3 days after the charges were filed. I almost didn't answer. But curiosity won. Peyton, we need to talk. I don't think we do. Please, this is important. About the charges. The fraud charges? Yeah, I heard. Congratulations on the felonies. It's not what you think. It's exactly what I think. You and Tasha staged the fall to scam my insurance company. I have video proof. That video doesn't show what you think it shows. It shows Tasha deliberately throwing herself down my stairs while you watched and coached her. Then you both lied about it for 2 years and collected $85,000. That's fraud. We were desperate. Tasha had medical bills. I was facing eviction. So you decided to frame me for negligence and steal from an insurance company? It wasn't stealing. Insurance companies have money. We weren't hurting anyone. You hurt me. My premiums tripled. I spent 2 years feeling guilty about your daughter's injury that she deliberately caused. Can you please talk to the prosecutor? Tell them it was a misunderstanding. A misunderstanding? Rhonda, you committed insurance fraud. That's a felony. There's no misunderstanding. If we're convicted, we'll go to prison. We'll lose everything. You should have thought of that before you staged a fall in my house. Please, Peyton. We're family. Family doesn't commit fraud against family. She started crying. We'll pay the money back. All of it. Just drop the charges. I can't drop the charges. The district attorney filed them. The insurance company is suing you. This is out of my hands. But you could testify on our behalf. Say it was an accident. Say you don't want to press charges. I'm not going to lie in court to protect you from consequences you earned. Tasha is only 28. A felony will ruin her life. She should have considered that before committing a felony. You're really going to do this? Send us to prison? I'm not sending you anywhere. You sent yourselves there when you decided insurance fraud was a good idea. She hung up. Tasha tried next. Sent a long text message. Aunt Peyton, please help us. Mom and I made a terrible mistake. We were scared about money and did something stupid, but we don't deserve to go to prison. I'm begging you to talk to the prosecutor. Tell them we'll pay everything back. Tell them we're sorry. Please don't let them ruin our lives over one mistake. I didn't respond. My father called that evening. Peyton, what's going on with Rhonda and Tasha? They're being charged with insurance fraud. Your mother and I heard. Rhonda called crying about criminal charges and lawsuits. Good. She should be crying. She and Tasha staged a fall in my house, sued me, and collected $85,000 through fraud. Staged it? Peyton, that's a serious accusation. It's not an accusation. It's a fact. I have video evidence. The insurance investigator confirmed it. They committed fraud. Rhonda says it's a misunderstanding. It's not a misunderstanding. It's a crime they planned and executed. But they're family. So am I. And they committed fraud against me without hesitation. Can't you work this out? Drop the charges? I didn't file the charges. The prosecutor did. The insurance company is suing separately. This isn't something I can drop. But you could testify on their behalf. Why would I? They tried to scam me out of $85,000 of insurance money. Because they're family and they're desperate. I was desperate when my insurance premiums tripled because of their lies. Did they care then? Peyton, please, no. I'm not helping people who deliberately hurt me. If Rhonda and Tasha want mercy, they can ask the judge. But they're not getting it from me. My father hung up disappointed. Quinn came over with wine. Your family is pressuring you? My dad thinks I should help Rhonda and Tasha avoid consequences. Of course he does. He wasn't the one they defrauded. Part of me feels guilty. They're facing prison time. They're facing consequences for committing a felony. That's not your fault. But they're family. So are you. And when they needed money, they didn't come to you honestly. They staged an elaborate fraud scheme that made you look negligent and cost you thousands of dollars. You don't owe them anything. My dad made me feel like I'm being vindictive. You're not being vindictive. You're allowing the justice system to work. There's a difference. She was right. But the guilt lingered. The trial was set for 8 months after the charges were filed. Rhonda took a plea deal, pled guilty to conspiracy to commit insurance fraud in exchange for probation, restitution, and no prison time. She was sentenced to 5 years probation, ordered to pay back $42,000 plus fees, and given a permanent felony record. Tasha refused to plead, insisted she'd actually fallen, that the video was misinterpreted, that her injuries were real. "She's going to trial?" Quinn asked when I got the news. "Apparently. Her attorney thinks they can convince a jury the fall was accidental." "Even with the video?" "They're arguing the video is ambiguous, that it looks like she threw herself backward, but it was actually her losing her balance." "That's ridiculous." "That's her defense." I was called to testify at the trial. The prosecutor asked straightforward questions. "Did you notice anything unusual about Tasha's behavior before the fall?" "She went upstairs with her mother, and they were up there for a while before I heard screaming." "Did you see the fall happen?" "No, I only saw the aftermath." "Have you since viewed security footage of the incident?" "Yes." "What does that footage show?" "It shows Tasha deliberately positioning herself at the top of the stairs, then throwing herself backward while her mother watched." Tasha's attorney cross-examined me. "Isn't it possible your cousin lost her balance?" "The video shows her deliberately throwing herself." "But you're not an expert in analyzing falls, are you?" "I don't need to be an expert. The video is clear." "You and my client's family have been estranged since this incident, correct?" "Because they committed fraud against me, yes." "So you have a motive to see her convicted?" "I have a motive to see the truth acknowledged. The truth is that she staged a fall to defraud an insurance company." The security footage was played for the jury, multiple times, in slow motion. The prosecutor walked through each frame, Rhonda checking if anyone was watching, Tasha positioning herself, the deliberate backward throw. Medical experts testified about the exaggerated injury claims. Social media analysis showed photos of Tasha doing activities she claimed were impossible. Mr. Douglas testified about the investigation, the pattern of lies, the coordination between Rhonda and Tasha. Tasha testified in her own defense. Claimed the fall was real, the injuries devastating, the video misrepresenting what happened. "I lost my balance. I've been traumatized by this incident, and now I'm being accused of faking something that nearly killed me." The prosecutor's cross-examination was brutal. "You were hiking 6 months after this fall that nearly killed you?" "That was physical therapy. At a mountain trail 3 hours from your home?" "I was trying to recover." "You were dancing at a wedding 8 months later?" "I was doing my best." "You returned to retail work 4 months after the fall, despite claiming you could never stand or walk for extended periods again." "I needed the money." "So you lied about your disability to collect a settlement, then went back to work doing exactly what you claimed you couldn't do." "That's not—" "Yes or no, did you return to retail work 4 months after the fall?" "Yes." No further questions. The jury deliberated for 4 hours, guilty on both counts of insurance fraud. Tasha was sentenced to 2 years in prison, 5 years probation, and ordered to pay back $42,500 plus damages, total of $95,000. She sobbed at the sentencing. Her attorney argued for leniency. The judge was unmoved. "You committed a calculated fraud that cost an insurance company $85,000 and significantly harmed your cousin's financial standing. This wasn't a mistake. It was a deliberate crime. You will serve your sentence and repay what you stole." Rhonda was in the courtroom. She glared at me like this was my fault. I looked back at her with no emotion. They'd done this to themselves. 3 years after Tasha's conviction, I was 37 and had fully moved on. My insurance premiums were back to normal. I'd been reimbursed for the excess premiums I'd paid. My home's reputation was restored, no longer the dangerous house where someone got hurt. Tasha served 18 months of her 2-year sentence, released early for good behavior. She was on probation, working minimum wage, trying to rebuild a life with a felony record. Rhonda had sold her car to make restitution payments, lost her apartment, and moved in with a friend. Her probation would last another 2 years. Both were financially ruined. Both faced years of wage garnishment to repay the insurance company. And I felt zero sympathy. Quinn and I were having coffee when she showed me a news article. "Your case made the local paper. They're using it as an example of insurance fraud prosecution." The article detailed the staged fall, the investigation, the convictions. My name was mentioned as the homeowner who'd been vindicated. How do you feel seeing it in print? Relieved. For 2 years, people thought my house was dangerous. Now everyone knows the truth. Have Rhonda or Tasha tried to contact you? Not since the sentencing. I think they finally understand I'm not going to help them. Good. You don't owe them anything. My father had eventually apologized. I didn't understand how calculated it was. I thought maybe it was a misunderstanding that got out of hand. But the trial made it clear they planned the whole thing. Yes, they did. I'm sorry I pressured you to help them. I'm sorry they put us in that position. Are you ever going to forgive them? No. They didn't just commit fraud. They deliberately hurt me, lied about it, profited from it, and only felt sorry when they got caught. That's not forgivable. My relationship with my father improved after that conversation. He stopped defending Rhonda and Tasha, stopped suggesting family reunions that included them. I heard through relatives that Tasha struggled with the felony conviction, couldn't get decent jobs, had trouble renting apartments. Her credit was destroyed. Rhonda was bitter, blaming me for ruining their lives by reporting the fraud. She told my mom, "You should have just let it go," a cousin reported. That family doesn't prosecute family. Family doesn't defraud family, I responded. They made their choices. I sold my house 4 years after the incident, not because of bad memories, but because I'd outgrown it, bought a larger place with better equity, better neighborhood. No stairs. Quinn laughed when I told her. Avoiding stairs now? Single-level ranch. No liability risk. You can't live your life afraid of fraudsters. I'm not afraid. I'm just cautious about who I invite into my home. The new house had excellent security cameras, front door, backyard, side entrances, everything recorded. Paranoid much? Quinn teased. Prepared. If anyone tries to stage an injury at my house again, I'll have footage from every angle. Has Tasha's conviction made you more suspicious of people? Not suspicious. Realistic. I used to think family meant loyalty. Now I know family is just people who share your DNA. Loyalty is earned. 5 years after the fall, I ran into Tasha at a grocery store. She looked older, tired, worn down by consequences. She saw me and froze. I nodded and kept walking. "Peyton, wait." I stopped. "What?" "I'm sorry. For everything. I know it doesn't change anything, but I'm sorry." "Okay. I was desperate and stupid and I ruined everything. My life is destroyed because of what I did." "Yes, it is. Can you ever forgive me?" "No." "Not even eventually?" "You staged a fall in my house, sued me for $120,000, cost me thousands in increased premiums, and made me feel guilty for years about injuries you deliberately caused. Then you refused to plead guilty and forced a trial where you lied on the stand. So no, I can't forgive you. Not now, not eventually. I was trying to survive. So was I, and you made it harder by committing fraud against me." I left her standing in the produce section, looking defeated. Quinn asked if I felt bad about the encounter. Should I? Some people would. I'm not some people. Tasha made choices that destroyed her life. I just refused to be destroyed with her. Fair enough. The insurance fraud case became a cautionary tale in my family. The story of what happens when you try to scam people. Even family, especially family. Rhonda and Tasha became the examples of what not to do. And I became the example of why you don't cross someone who's willing to seek justice. That seemed fair to me.